Welcome to the Newsome MMA Podcast, partnered with Concussion Pro 1, the world's first dedicated concussion supplement. I'm your host as always, Newsome, and tonight I'm joined by heavy-duty fight management fighter Yannick Black Mamba Bahati, ahead of his fight at Cage Warriors 98 this Saturday, October 20th, at the Genting Arena, Birmingham, England. Yannick, I know this is fight week for you, so thank you for taking the time to join me tonight. How are you doing, man?
No worries. Thanks for having me, guys.
Always a pleasure, man. You know, we're both at Cage Warriors 96 a few weeks ago in Liverpool. You know exactly what to expect from the crowds and the atmosphere at these events. So how excited are you to be making your Cage Warriors debut this weekend?
I'm definitely excited making my Cage Warriors debut, especially in my hometown in Birmingham, do you know what I mean? So I believe that, the Birmingham people will be much louder than Liverpool, so I think it'll definitely be a good night to remember for sure.
Absolutely, man. And it's not only a Cage Warriors debut, it's also your light heavyweight debut as well at 205 pounds. So can you talk a little about how this career move has came about and how you're feeling and, what looks to be more of a natural weight class for you?
Obviously, everybody knows that, I can't lower weight to make middleweight, especially, when I used to fight middleweight, but I was a lot younger and I had the knee surgery and I put a lot of weight on in between. I took two and a half years off of fighting, and when I came back, I was a lot heavier. So making middleweight, was always been difficult for me, and I always done it. I was done as the best I could, and I've never took no shortcuts and no excuses. But I never missed weight once. So yeah. So obviously, my coaches and my teammates have always told me you should fight like heavyweight because obviously they see me in camps, the way that I'm starting out at the beginning of the camps, and then they see my performance at the beginning of the camp, at the middle of the camps. But then after that, my last, 4 weeks where I'm peaking, my performance end the same in the gym as I started, you know what I mean? So, and they've always told me to move up weight, this and that. I've seen a doctor in the past before. He told me to move up weight.
Sure.
But because I was winning, I wasn't really getting touched. I wasn't really going distant. I wasn't really going 5 rounds or 3 rounds. The fights were quite easy and I was making the weight, so I thought, if I ain't broke, don't fix it, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Absolutely, man. And, I've seen the pictures on social media, I've seen videos, you're looking absolutely huge. So how are you feeling in yourself? Obviously training now at your more natural weight.
I feel great, this is probably the most enjoyable camp I've ever had, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I enjoyed the camp, I wasn't as, I was grumpy. Obviously, every fight week is always the same, do you know what I mean? No matter if you're counting small weight or big weight, you still counting weight, but I've enjoyed training camp, do you know what I mean? So I felt quite fresh, my sparring, my training. I didn't feel as drained as I used to. I've managed to keep my performance, from the beginning. The first performance have been good from the beginning of the camp, the middle of the camp, and right at the end. So, which is something that I'm not really used to having this close to a fight. You know what I mean? Right now, weigh-ins on Friday, and I'm in a good mood and a good vibe. I'm happy, so I can't wait to get in there on October 20.
Sounds good, man. And you mentioned your camp, Yannick, so let's talk about that for a little. Where's your camp been for this fight, just to start with?
This is my first camp with Team Renegade. Obviously, our gym UTC closed down.
Yeah.
For some stupid reason, in my opinion, obviously. And then obviously all the guys, the main guys like Leon Edwards, Fabian Edwards, Nafias Fredericks, all the top boys moved down to Renegade. And of course, I was definitely wasn't going to the new UTC. Plus, with Team Renegade, Tom Breeze is there as well, and they've got a lot of black belts in Jiu-Jitsu. Plus, it was an easy transition because all of my teammates and myself were already training at Renegade for just no-gi grappling. So when the UTC closed down, it just made sense to go there. Plus, obviously, they had a little bit of, not too much MMA. Obviously, Tom for that team, but then with all the guys coming there, it's kind of made the gym even better because now, all the best fighters in Birmingham and Warsaw in the West Midlands are kind of in the one place now. So overall, it worked out the best, to be honest.
Absolutely. And who have your main training partners been for this camp? And have you had to make any adjustments on the type of partners you now work with because of the move up to light heavyweight?
Nah, to be honest, since even back in the days, my old gym, all my training partner was always been really from. Well, my teammate, I got my teammates always middleweight to light heavyweight. Only Leon Edwards was only the only welterweight really.
Yeah.
So all my training partners always have been big, from middleweight to light heavyweight, so it was an easy transition for me, really. Plus, I've been sparring up different cities to spar with, some heavyweights, just to give a feel, do you know what I mean? So, and, I found that, sparring the bigger guys, especially at heavyweight, it was an interesting transition because I felt that, the big and they hit hard, strong, but the big guys, their grappling isn't as good. They're not very agile. They're very slow. So it was an easy transition. To be fair, I think it'll be even easier fighting a light heavyweight than fighting middleweight. Obviously, guys are a lot more faster. They're more reactive, they're more fitter. And naturally, myself, I'm a very fit guy for middleweight. And me moving up to light heavyweight, my stamina's it's only going to get better, especially fighting guys that are natural light heavyweight. You know what I mean? So, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And who's going to be in your corner for this fight, Yannick?
I'm going to have obviously my boxing coach will be there. I'm going to have Tom Breeze, who's in the UFC. He'll be there in my corner. And one of my training partner and good friend, Radu, will be there also.
Awesome, man. And, you'll know as well as I do, the learning never stops in this sport. So is there any area of your game that you've been specifically focusing on during the camp for this fight? Or have you dedicated your time working on, your all-round game?
I'll always try to concentrate either main camp or our camp, to try to do 50-50 of everything, Either I'm working on my boxing, my Thai boxing, my wrestling, and jiu-jitsu. I always make sure, obviously, I'm covering all bases. But in the last couple of months, I've been focusing a lot on my Thai boxing. I've been working with Damien Trainer, who's a two-time Thai boxing world champion for quite a while now. So, and doing private and doing classes and I think that all the stuff that I've been working in the last couple of months, I'll put on a show on Friday on October 20th.
Awesome, man. So let's talk about your opponent for a bit. You're fighting Alan Carlos, 13-9, who fights out of Brazil. Now, what's interesting to me is that this is also another middleweight stepping up to light heavyweight here. How much do you know about Carlos?
Yeah, obviously, as you said, he's a former middleweight. It's a good fight for me. Do you know what I mean? So, he's a content. He fought one time, I believe, he fought for the Cage Warriors middleweight title. He never won, but he stepped in there and fought a champ. So I'll give him that to his credit. You know what I mean? A good thing for me as well is obviously it's his first fight alive as well. So it's a good transition for me, to just see how I feel with the weight and how I feel in there. So as you said, he's a black belt, from Brazil, but I believe he lives in Sweden now. But other than that, yes, that's pretty much about it.
So if you or your coaches run the tape on Carlos, is it part of the process leading up to a fight, or do you solely focus on yourself and what you're going to do inside there?
Me personally, I like watching a lot of tape. I watch a lot of tape. In general, I just like watching fights, to be honest. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter if it's my opponent or someone else, but I do watch a lot of tape. I do a lot of study. So do my coaches. I bring the tape to all my coaches, my grappling coach, my boxing coach, my Thai boxing coach. I send a video over and we put a game plan together and see what works and what doesn't. But for this, I've done that as well. But I didn't go too much in depth in watching too many fights. Like in the past. In the past, I'll watch pretty much. I'll watch even all the fights they've had. You know what I mean? So, but this time I just watched the last two fights. They're the only fights that are relevant. Plus, this guy, he doesn't really fight very often. He normally fights like once, twice a year. So I watched his last two fights on Cage Warriors on UFC Fight Pass, and I went to impress. He's a black belt, but the rest of his game is not very impressive, and physically as well, is not very impressive either.
Interesting, man. So, Cage Warriors 98 this Saturday, October 20th, Genting Arena in your hometown of Birmingham. How do you see this fight playing out, Yannick? I
see myself obviously I'm a pressure fighter, so I want to fight to my strength. I want to come forward, and even though Carlos is a BJJ black belt, he likes to stand with people. Do you know what I mean? So he'll stand with you, throw hands, but I think that'll be part of his downfall. He ain't the best guy at takedowns. He's tough and he's confident and he's got a good ground game. But I just see myself going forward and put my shots together. In the past, I used to hesitate too much and wait around too long. So I'm not planning on wasting any time. I'm coming right after him, letting my hands go. Teeing off on him, and it's up to him. If he wants to come forward, I'll let my shot go. If he wants to sit back, I'll just ping him all day and I'll eat him alive.
Sure. And finally, just before we wrap this up, I'm not sure how much you can talk about this, so please don't disclose any private information, but you're making your Cage Warriors debut here. Your last fight was in KSW. The fight before that was BAMMA, and before that was EFC over in South Africa. My question is, are you looking for a permanent home in regards to a promotion, or are you just happy spreading your wings between multiple promotions on, non-exclusive contracts?
As at the moment, I'm obviously signed to EFC. I've got 3 fights left with them.
Okay.
I've also got a contract with KSW, which is a big show in Poland. In my opinion, I think KSW is one of the top shows in the world. I believe in the future, people will be saying KSW is number one. That's what I truly believe. I've been to only 2 events. I've been to every single show around the world. from UFC to BAMMA to Cage Warriors. I've been all around the world, and I'm very impressed with KSW. How they treat the fight, and the crowd they bring into the arena, the amount of arena they have, and I believe KSW is a really great show for myself. And but at the moment, as I said, I'm signed to them 2 companies, but my contract allows me to fight on other shows. So if I get an opportunity, I'll take it. Just like this one, obviously, I've got an opportunity to fight on Cage Warriors 98. October 20th here in my hometown. It's a great opportunity for me to fight in front of my home crowd. It's not very often that I get to fight in the UK, especially in Birmingham. So that's something that I'm very looking forward to.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And well, for me, that's all she wrote. So what I'm going to do now, Yannick, as I always do, is just give you the opportunity to shout out anyone or anything that you need to. So sponsors, coaches, partners, family, friends, etc. I know this puts fighters on the spot a lot. So listen, man, there's no rush at all here. Just take your time, and the floor is yours.
Obviously, I want to thank, number one, Carl Mason, from Heavy Duty Management. He's given me great opportunity and many opportunities for the rest of the fighters. And of course, all my main coaches, my Thai boxing coach, Damien Trainer, my strength conditioning coach, Velocity Training Center, Johnny, I appreciate all the help, and of course, my sponsor, from Body Sheath, for my nutrition. Feel Supreme for my supplement and CBD, and that's about it, to be honest. Yes.
So Yannick, once again, thank you for the time to talk to me tonight. I'm hoping to be down in Birmingham as well on Saturday too with Heavy Duty, so I'm sure we'll catch up after your fight, and I wish you the best of luck, man, inside that cage.
Oh, sweet, awesome, thank you, bud.
Thanks a lot, Yannick.